Hi, I'm Ryan, and welcome to my Freelance Journey vlog series, where I share my experience in becoming a full time freelancer. Hopefully, it helps you in your own journey. If you do know anyone that would enjoy this series, please send them to the link located at the bottom of your screen. So yeah, it's been a fair bit since we last recorded one of these. But as I mentioned, this is going to be more of kind of a monthly cadence and whatnot. Hopefully your all of your holidays went well. So I my stepdad passed away January of last year, and over the holidays, I got a sizable inheritance from his estate, and so enough to where I could support myself for a while and actually and commit to learning software development. Now, for those new to the channel and aren't and not really aware, I figured I'd go through my journey in codings up to this point. So I actually go back a fair ways, all the way back to GeoCities in the early 2000s. And back then I mean it was still relatively early days. You know, we're it's definitely not where we were in the late, but anyway, so I was just kind of playing around with HTML, very much the same reason when I splashed in the bathtub. I was just kind of playing around. I had no, I had, I had no goals or anything. Just hey, what's this neat thing, and how can I kind of play with it? And if you weren't around back then, the websites in the early 2000s were a dumpster fire. It was just, ugh. It's because CSS and JavaScript weren't really a thing, and the new hotness at the time was making like major parts of your page static, and you could only scroll through one part of the page. And yeah, thankfully that went by the wayside, and yeah, we moved on to better things. And so, I mean, it was a lot of like ugly, flashy banner ads and horrible GIFs or GIFs, whichever side of the fence you land on. Me, I'm Swiss. It's like y'all decide for yourselves. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not gonna be putting them on my own site. And so I was like, okay, spent all this time kind of playing around with it, and I was like, well, okay, this looks like shit. I'm not getting anywhere here. I got some other stuff to do, and because I wasn't in the computer science program. I was in back then I was going for journalism, so I was in a liberal arts deal. So yeah, it was just kind of like a little side thing, and I my mistake, kind of looking back, was I conflated my own ability to learn coding with the maturity of the technology. So that's kind of where that happened. And then fast forward to 2013. I'm going to back to school at DeVry, and I get reintroduced to Linux. Now I heard about Linux again around the same time frame when I was playing around on GeoCities, but hardware compatibility was definitely a thing. It was, I mean, definitely not as easy to install as it is today because the hardware compatibility wasn't quite there. I was having trouble with the laptop that I had just because with when Windows is Windows, and I was okay. There has to be something else. All right, well, there's this Linux stuff. Well, oh, okay, yeah. I don't have time to learn that stuff. I'll just deal with Windows. Okay. And then again, in 2013, one of my first classes, the guy was talking up Linux like a storm. I'm like, okay, maybe I should look into this. And starting with Ubuntu 14.04, I've been using it as my daily driver ever since, and that really kind of got me that really changed my attitude because up until that point, a computer was just was this unstable Microsoft black box that I had to reload every 6 or 8 months just so that I can actually get some use out of it. Turned it from that into a utilitarian tool set where I could dig as deep as I wanted to, and even totally bork the machine, which I have done, but it demystified it where it was like, okay, this is a computer tool that does what I tell it to do, not undid the handcuffs, and another teacher later on introduced me to Python that really allowed us to, really short helped out with a lot of processes and automated a lot of things, and Python's pretty human readable. It's pretty easy to understand, and so I grabbed onto that pretty easily. And then a little over a year ago, I forget about how long now, I made a script out of a Python script that parsed CSV files and printed a graph for to view the numbers on on a podcast that I do, and through that process, well, first off, when I got it to work, I kind of jumped out of my chair a bit, and that kind of got me thinking, and just felt like I was kind of getting back into that splashing in the bathtub kind of vibe, and then that really started me thinking, and then later on in this past October, I started going to developer meetups here, and I have a bunch of video content about that. So yeah, just go back to around mid-October and go forward. A lot of the vlogs I've made in this series have been about that specifically, so I'm not going to delve into that too much. So fast forward to here in early this month. So I was looking into coding boot camps, because in order to get to where I want to be as far as being a developer by the end of the year, that's the route that I'm going to have to go. I mean, there aren't too many options aside from that. And in my research, most of the boot camps I saw are around like 4 or 6 months, and yeah, that would not work for me, because I don't drink well from a fire hose, and that's just the. I know that there's a bunch of stuff that I don't know that I need to know, or let me. There's a bunch of stuff that I need to know but I don't know that I need to know it. That makes more sense. Yeah, let's go with that. Although there is a bunch of stuff that I know I don't know. let's get that straight as well. Um, So I just didn't feel that 6 months was enough time, because you do need time to have all this information actually sink in, and you can integrate it, and yeah, that kind of stuff. So I found two programs with options long enough that would actually be effective for me. So as far as learning stuff, I'm actually borrowing a metaphor from a Complete Developer podcast. That in the I see learning kind of in my relationship to learning is similar to a plant's relationship to the sun, in that it is the plant's responsibility to angle itself in the right way to receive the best benefit. So I have to put myself into a situation that would give me the best environment to succeed. So yeah, I spent a lot of time thinking on that, and online reviews only say so much. It is kind of a self-selected audience, because in order to, I mean, usually you get like strong reviews in one, and like extremes, because those are the people that are most motivated to actually spend the time to write a review and post it. There's we all know about the silent majority, the people that just go right along. It works just fine, and they don't say anything because it worked, and they've moved on with their life. So I was looking for people that are currently working as a developer that went through those programs, and ask them what. How it helped or not, actually get them their position. Be, so yeah, just to get kind of like real life stories and whatnot, and so yeah, I went and they all provided very helpful information, and I decided on Flatiron School. I'm taking they have a 10-month online full stack web developer options, and that's the route I want to go. Is I want to be a full stack web developer, just because I like stuff both out in the front end and the back end. So yeah, it definitely. It definitely massages both sides of my brain, and both my creative and my more straightforward logical thing. So yeah, class. So yeah, it's I'm in the middle of my kind of like my pre-work right now, because I applied and I was accepted, and the class I want to get into starts in mid-February. And my contact in admissions told me that there's a waiting list for that class, but none of the emails I've received from Flatiron School since then have mentioned a waiting list. But if there is a waiting list, the next class I would could be able to attend starts in mid-March. So I'm hoping for mid-February, because yeah, I want to get going on this, because I only have so much money for bills and whatnot. So one of the big drawing things for me is that in with Flatiron School, with some of their programs come with a year membership to a co-working space, and I need a I need to be in a separate environment in order to do this effectively. Because yeah, here in the house at the studio, there's just a lot of fun stuff to distract me. So that was a big draw for me. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm currently going through the pre-work right now. I'm going through fundamentals of Ruby, which is actually a little more human readable than Python. Yeah, it's a less finicky syntactical rules. Not that Python has a lot of those, but I mean, there's less of them than in Ruby, and because of what I've been teaching myself for a good portion of since like 2014 or 15 or so. It's just been kind of a dabbling thing, and so a lot of the concepts that they've been taught in these pre-work lessons, I'm already familiar with. So it's just learning a new syntax. Thankfully, it's a simpler syntax. so. So yeah, that's a lot. So I'll just kind of go take a step back, kind of do a big picture review kind of thing here. So this is definitely a big chapter moment for me in that this is a big change, and I am kind of taking a risk, kind of going all in on this. But I was given this opportunity to I could commit fully to learning this stuff full time. So I'm gonna go with it. So as I mentioned in previous videos in this series, my experience with the developer community has been really positive and supportive, and it's just it just feels like I'm kind of in a riptide being pulled this way, and so I'm going to go with it. I'm going to figure it out as I go along, but I there's a number of fields, mostly excitement though, at I just feel like I'm creating a career that I don't feel I need to retire from, and yeah, I'm definitely reaching reaching back to the me in the early 2000s that was just doing this for fun, just to see what it was like, and and just having fun with it, and it's just like, hey buddy, yeah, it's okay, the water's okay now. It's okay to play. so yeah, I know that's a lot. So but that's kind of gonna be the thing, kind of going forward here. So I do thank you for watching. If you want to stay up to date, please like and subscribe, and feel free to check out the rest of this series. If you have any comments or questions, please post them below, and I'll see you in the next chapter.